You can possess a profound desire for wealth, an active imagination, and highly specialized knowledge. In a vacuum, those abstract forces hold zero market value. They are raw, uncontained potential. The inability to mechanically translate that potential into structured operational output is exactly why 98% of individuals stall out. They lack a physical bridge to the real economy. In 1937, Napoleon Hill published an extensive analysis of the American industrial elite. This empirical teardown documented exactly how men like Ford and Carnegie engineered their ambitions into reality. Every one of them relied on a mandatory mechanical bridge to move from idea to asset. Hill called it organized planning. Without building this specific architecture, you cannot participate in capital accumulation. In Chapter 7, Hill details this architecture as a four-stage process. You must assemble a processing network called the mastermind. You must calibrate your leadership attributes. You must formally value your labor using the QQS formula. And finally, you must run continuous failure diagnostics. This is an unforgiving operational structure. If one quadrant fails, the system fails. The divergence between the 2% who accumulate vast wealth and the 98% who do not comes down entirely to the formalized application of these four quadrants. The first quadrant targets processing power. A single human intellect simply lacks the bandwidth, education, and experience to draft flawless plans for large-scale capital accumulation. To compensate for individual blind spots, you must formalize a mastermind, a functional alliance of specialized minds working toward a definite objective. The strict prerequisite for this network is absolute harmony. Any operational friction or breakdown in alignment immediately severs the group's processing power and guarantees the plan's collapse. Even with a perfectly aligned mastermind, the statistical reality is your first plan will fail. Hill draws a crucial distinction in his terminology here. A mechanical error in your execution is a temporary defeat. It only degrades into failure if you psychologically surrender. Thomas Edison met with temporary defeat 10,000 times before finalizing the incandescent light bulb. He processed 10,000 mechanical errors. Defeat is an automated data signal. When a plan breaks down, the mastermind receives the data, patches the error, and immediately executes a revised blueprint. Once your processing power is secured, you face a binary professional choice. You must actively decide to operate as a leader or remain a follower. Remaining a follower is acceptable, provided you act as an intelligent follower. This is a strategic, temporary position used to extract knowledge, observe operations, and study the leaders. To scale your earning potential, you must make the transition. Leadership requires the deliberate adoption of 11 specific operational attributes. This matrix shows the required attributes. The most critical are unwavering courage, definiteness of decision, and the willingness to assume full responsibility for the errors of your subordinates. The old industrial model of leadership by force, dictation without sympathy, is structurally obsolete. Sustainable capital relies entirely on leadership by consent. Conversely, corrupting these mechanics destroys the mastermind architecture. Hill mapped out 10 major causes of leadership failure that will dismantle your organization. Terminal errors on this list include a fear of competition from your own followers, an inability to organize those complex details, and leaning on the authority of a title rather than actual, demonstrated competence. True leadership is an acquired structural competency. It is a precise behavioral code that you must rigorously maintain. If you are starting your accumulation process without financial reserves, your only initial leverage is the marketing of your own personal services. To understand how the open market determines the monetary value of those services, Hill formalized the QQS formula. Value equals quality plus quantity multiplied by spirit. Quality is the optimization of your efficiency. It is the relentless pursuit of improvement in every operational detail of your position. Quantity is the ingrained habit of maximizing consistent, high-volume output over a sustained period. The deciding variable is spirit. Agreeable, harmonious conduct acts as an exponent to the other two variables, scaling your value exponentially. Andrew Carnegie enforced this logic ruthlessly. He would terminate high-output, highly skilled workers immediately if they lacked this spirit of harmony. Human capital is never valued on raw effort alone. The market calculates your exact worth using this multivariable equation. Even with a flawless plan, human operators contain inherent flaws. Hill audited over 25,000 instances of professional failure to map these weaknesses. This fault tree visualizes his findings, a diagnostic checklist of the 30 major root causes of failure. The data reveals a critical fact. Aside from an unfavorable hereditary background, 29 of the 30 causes are behavioral variables entirely within your control. The highest probability leaks that destroy organized plans are ingrained procrastination, persistent indecision, and a lack of concentrated effort. Hill also isolated specific structural vulnerabilities. The habit of indiscriminate spending strips away your economic leverage, forcing you into defensive, fear-based decision-making. To counter this, Hill designed a 28-point self-analysis questionnaire. You must use this as an annual auditing mechanism to scan your psychology for these faults. You can build a perfect execution engine, but without a rigorous process of self-debugging, predictable behavioral leaks will drain the system. Economic success is not the result of manifestation or wishing. It is the output of a highly regimented operational architecture. You have to align collective intelligence through a mastermind, adopt a strict behavioral code of leadership, and maximize your output using the QQS metric. And you must protect that momentum by relentlessly debugging your own psychology via the failure inventory. The capitalist system is indifferent to your potential. It does not care about your latent talent or your abstract desires. The market exclusively rewards those willing to push their ambitions through the friction of reality, converting raw thought into organized planning.